Masterland, and friends and everybody who came to start to the Great Hill. Harry Brown welcomes you, and all those who live on the farm or intentional community. We all welcome you. And we have Josh and Bear, who have been our season-long volunteers, and them I thank heartily, and for all the rest of the staff and volunteers, my thanks. The event wouldn't be here. It wouldn't be possible without you all. And we're going strong here on the hill. I mean, I wouldn't say it's strong, you know. If I could share a thought, it harkens back to the old times when they said, you know, if you're so smart, how come you ain't rich? And well, that's where we're at here. And getting there's half the fun. And thank you, Jodi, for bringing me up here. And we got some heavy entertainment on the way. We had our last fantastic band was Rice and the American Band. And coming up right after this, address, sermon, memo, lecture, bulletin, what have you, or whatever. Coming up, the band is Brotherhood of the Arrow and Sword. And I come up here to share a few thoughts, but most of them I didn't bring up to here, and most of them I don't remember, and some of them I don't remember even more. And ain't that a good idea? I'll try to hold that thought for a minute. And may I remind you, the hour of the day is 4:20. Woo! And that reminds me of something. Hold that thought, Harry. Well, no, my time is limited up here. My thoughts are few. But can you imagine if you used to be like a peacemaker or a member of the diplomatic corps, and if you went to, and they say when you make a time change of one time zone, and it's an hour earlier or an hour later, like you go to the Midwest, you know, and it's an hour earlier. If you go to Korea, it's 18 hours different. I think that involves the international date line, crossing the international date line. Now here's one for all you, a riddle for all you stoners out there. What is the international date line? What is the ablative of the conjunction of a noun from Latin? You know, and just what is the national international date line? And fear not, this isn't coming and going. But I'm just saying, it's one of those things you can look up. You can look it up in your favorite dictionary, and you're not going to be no wiser for it. And my gosh, it's great to be here. It's great to be here with all these people, all you people, and to see myself up here. And it's we're taking a little time out here for a 4:20 break. Hey, thank you, Jodi. Now here we are. Smoke marijuana from the flowering tops of the whole dried plant and roll cigarette form. See, it's good for you. I mean, you go big and strong. It won't make you go blind. A Band-Aid for the mind. Hey, no, really, aside, I'm kind of fooling. It's just a learning phase in my youthful development I'm going through. I'm only experimenting with it. My phase of this is soon to pass. But closer to the truth, from my own personal experience, and I'd like to relate just a little bit of that, because we are, after all, we are on the hill. We are celebrating the God-given seed-bearing herb. And my experience dates back 50 years ago in November, or 52 years ago, really. Well, I have grown. 52 years ago, back in November of 1967. And, back in those days, I could take you back, but that would take longer. But suffice to say, you could, you'd have to wait a week or a month and plan and exploit and plead and beg and demand and conspire to even get a sight of a single joint. And you'd have to plan, and it would be an occasion. And it would be akin to when the first black and white TVs came out, and that was a little bit before my time, or I wasn't old enough to watch TV anyway. When the first black and white TVs came out, and I remember this part, and they had big swinging wide open hardwood doors, and they were big as a house, the very TV, and all your neighbors knew you'd all come over and make tea or have coffee and get together for the weekly variety show. You know, and it doesn't carry me back. I came of age when the Beatles invasion came to America, and I'll never forget that on the weekly Ed Sullivan Variety Hour, Sunday night, always at the same time. Same place, same station, and there weren't many of them. And wasn't that something? Before that, I had dancing school. I had a year of dancing school before the Beatles even came along. And the Beatles were the start of the hair, and they were the start of the whole thing, and everything, and every movie and play and message and write-up and everything had the underlying message of getting high and a mind expansion. And this is what we're doing here today. We are playing the counterculture. We are exhibiting the counterculture. And lest we forget, we are not trying to outdo the other one. You know, like my medical cannabis is better than your medical cannabis. It's not really all that's about. You know, I've been experimenting with this stuff 52 years now. Well, heck, best when I was ignorant, when I was young and ignorant. And about 18 years old, we thought that the cannabis was very harmful. When we was 18, we thought marijuana was very harmful, but we was willing to take that step, because speaking from my own generation, and talking about my own generation, we were the disenchanted youth. We were the student unrest. And what happened? What happened to that revolution? It was counter intel pro of our own state-sponsored domestic security agencies to discredit, bedazzle, defame, prosecute, condemn, assassinate even people who were struggling to break the curve and to bring this country together on a positive route. And I was for a little while in the summer of '69, and the days of rage, and some of those days, I was there for that, and I saw that, and I could smell it, and I could smell the tear gas. And the button I have here is to remember the Yippies, the Yippie Party, which was that was us white kids. That was the Youth International Party of Peace and Freedom and Self-Defense. And of course we grew off of the Black Panther Party of Peace and Freedom and Self-Defense. And what's that? Well, yeah, I did. Thank you, Jodi, for reminding me. I did art for the Black Panthers in college. I did a silk screen of Angela Davis and the iconic black and white silhouette of her. I mean, we already had color photos then, but we didn't want to use it for that. And does anybody do silk screening anymore? Silk screening in art school? Well, I'll give you a hint. You get up to here, and you get up to here in stainful ink doing that. And I'm gonna pass it over to you, Jodi, but not the mic, just the J here. And not now, but perhaps in a minute. I was on was rapping about several subjects yesterday, and that brought us to where we are today. And before I go, I would just like to, and this is something you got to learn, and this is solid gold, and this is counter to the mass media, and it is counter media, and it is regarding and is about and condemning selective media coverage. And what I mean by that, and what that is say they come upon a subject in the news that maybe we need to know more about for our enlightened self-interest, like say global warming, climate change, the climate crisis. And so maybe you know, I think this is something we're not easily going to get out of. But anyway, so they'll show a spot of oh, this guy is, I mean, here's all the ice breaking away and going all to the crap, and but then they go right to the skipper of the icebreaker, and they say, oh, well, look at this guy Joe. He graduated. He went to this school and that school, and he went to graduate school and completed his undergraduate studies, and then he was lecturing, then he was teaching and building up on his career. And it's another thing we got to remember. It's not about people. It's about what people can do. And in the middle of all is capitalism. And I like to say just a word about capitalism. And I didn't make this up. I didn't think it up. Capitalism would be like the idea of capitalism without bank panic and Great Depressions. Would that be like the idea of Catholicism without hell? And of course, I'm not here to condemn either one of them. And capitalism is a grave threat. It's a very existential threat to our existence. Capitalism and the forms of growth it hypes has perpetuated only wars of empire, toxic waste, displacement, conspicuous consumption, mass extinctions, ignorance, servitude, and despair. It must be disposed of properly and immediately, as soon as possible. And I hope you all out there are having a good growing season. And you wouldn't believe how stuff comes up and grows and starts. And same like Americans, we grow same like Americans, like anybody does everywhere else. We all think that our pot that we're growing and tending, drying, sifting through, and rolling up has a better name, and a better taste, and it wakes you up better and puts you out better, and then the other guy, and that's what Americans believe in, and these are things, the way people latch on to ideas, the great corporations of our time. They study these things. Well, okay, maybe the Russians do. The Russians do too, but I don't think the Russians have anything much to do with it. And so, say if somebody says that meet the dude over here, his name is Richard, but then a minute later somebody says, oh, everybody calls him Buzzy. His real name everybody uses and calls him is Buzzy. Well, for the next 20 years, we'll be still calling him Richard. And this is how the human mind works. And these are scientific facts. And this is not a case of science leading to peace and freedom and greater potential. This is science of huge multinational greedy corporations mining data, buying and paying for and trading information about who you are and how you think, act, desire, want, don't want. And they accumulate this information. They even accumulate negative information about you, and you, and it is bought and sold and traded by these nasty transnational corporations who owe no allegiance, who owe no debt to the country that they don't live in, or the people or or the nations anywhere, or to peace and freedom anywhere, but only to their responsibilities, only to their investment stockholders. And you ain't seen nothing yet. And I'd like to close by offering a small quote from Holy Scriptures, and this applies especially for all you growers out there. Let's hear it for the growers. Oh, thank you all out there. Well, okay, this is something I couldn't have made up. And it's a wishful poem. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted. And you leave the rest to Mother Nature. And thank you, y'all. And then we got some big band's music. Y'all like curl up wires on your knees. Can sit right up, and get your chin up, wipe the corn crumbs off your chin, pay attention, and listen here.
Let's hear it for Harry Brown, everyone.
Come on, a little louder.
All right, guys. If you can take some time to direct your attention to my left, your right, there is the Brotherhood of the Arrow and Sword. They're going to be doing some live action, full contact, full metal combat. Please make your way over. Make sure you can get a good view. You do not want to miss this. It's one of the highlights of the event.